Welcome to Guided by Jesus Daily,
The podcast where we explore those Bible verses.
that offer guidance and reassurance for everyday life.
You got it.
I'm Augustus,
And I'm Ashley.
and today we've got an awesome collection of verses for you.
Oh, yeah. These verses offer guidance for just about any situation you might be going through.
Right, like let's say you're facing a really tough decision.
Totally. Or maybe you're unsure about the future.
Yeah.
Or just need a little boost of confidence.
hmm
Hmm. Well, we're going to dive into some scriptures.
That hold timeless wisdom.
Seriously, these words can speak right to your heart.
So where do you want to jump in first?
Well, let's start with those moments when you're facing a difficult decision.
Okay, so you're kind of stuck at a crossroads.
Yeah, like you're unsure as which way to go.
Exactly. And it can feel really overwhelming.
Totally. It's so easy to get caught up in those feelings.
Right, and start second-guessing yourself.
Yeah, but the cool thing is we don't have to figure it all out on our own.
Yeah. Oh, totally. We have an amazing resource to turn to.
Yes. James 1.5 tells us, "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you."
Ask God. That's it.
Right. It's like a direct invitation.
To bring all our uncertainties to him.
Exactly. And it's like having access to the ultimate advisor
Someone who sees the whole picture.
and really has our best interests at heart.
100%. And you know what? It's not just about those big life decisions either, right?
You're so right. This applies to like even the everyday choices.
Yeah. The little things that we often make without much thought.
Right, exactly.
But God cares about all the details of our lives.
He does.
Okay, so what about those times when the future feels uncertain?
Oh, yeah. This is a big one.
Like when you're going through a career change.
Totally. Or maybe a shift in a relationship.
Or even just a general feeling of being lost.
You know, it's so easy to get caught up in the anxiety.
The anxiety of what lies ahead.
Yeah. And I think that's where verses like Jeremiah 29.11 and Psalm 32.8 become so important.
What do they say?
Well, Jeremiah 29.11 reminds us that God has a plan for us.
I love that verse.
Me too. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future."
Yeah. And when you think about the context of this verse, it just blows my mind.
What do you mean?
Well, it was written to the Israelites.
Oh, right. They were living in exile.
Exactly.
They
Feeling
were-
lost so far from home.
And, you know, their idea of prosperity wasn't just about material wealth, right?
Right. It was more about a flourishing community.
Like a restored relationship with God.
Exactly. And thriving even in the midst of difficult circumstances.
It's a reminder that God's plan for us isn't always easy,
Yeah, it's not always about comfort.
but it's about growth and ultimately drawing closer to Him, even through those tough times.
And, then in Psalm 32.8, we're told, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you.
That visual is so comforting.
It is. God's loving eye is guiding us.
And you know, all of this ties into needing that boost of confidence to actually step out in faith, right?
Oh, yeah. Because it's one thing to know that God has a plan.
But it's another thing to actually walk it out.
Right. Especially when fear and doubt are clouding our vision.
For sure. And I think that's why we need to lean on verses like Proverbs 3.56
Okay.
and Joshua 1.9.
Proverbs is one of my favorites. What does it say?
It says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight."
Trust in the Lord.
But you know, it's easy to say those words.
But what does that look like practically?
Right. Like in our everyday lives.
Exactly. Think about a time when you faced, like, a seemingly impossible situation.
Like David facing Goliath.
Right. How did he find the courage to step forward?
He wasn't ignoring the danger? Real.
No. He was trusting that God was with him, even in the midst of it all.
So how can we channel that same courage in our own challenges?
Great question. What giants are we facing?
And how can we lean on God's strength instead of our own?
I love that.
Oh,
Because it shifts the focus
how so?
from how can I overcome this to God, how can we overcome this together?
I love that.
And then in Joshua, we hear that powerful command, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go.
Those words are like armor for our souls.
A constant reminder.
That we're not alone in the battle.
That's good.
And we have the creator of the universe fighting for us.
And empowering us to move forward with courage.
Totally.
But sometimes, even with that knowledge, we find ourselves in seasons of waiting.
Oh, for sure.
waiting for a prayer to be answered,
Yeah, or a breakthrough to come.
or just for some clarity and direction.
It can be so challenging to remain patient and hopeful.
It really can. And those are the times when we really need wisdom from scriptures like Psalm 27.13
Okay.
and Isaiah 40.31.
What does Psalm 27.14 say?
Well, the psalmist urges us to wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord.
So it's not passive waiting.
Right. It's an active and hopeful anticipation.
That's good.
And then in Isaiah 40.31, it says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint."
It's that beautiful image of soaring eagles.
Isn't it? Finding strength and renewal.
Even in the midst of the wait.
So think about a time when you just felt weary and you needed renewal.
Yeah.
How did you find it?
Maybe it was through prayer or spending time in nature.
Or connecting with loved ones?
Yeah. This verse offers hope, reminding us that God is the source of our strength.
And it reminds us that there's a purpose in the waiting, a
Absolutely.
time for growth,
And deepening our trust in God.
and a time to allow Him to work in us.
Totally. Another challenge I think we often face is just finding purpose,
Yeah?
especially in our work and our everyday lives.
Sometimes it feels like we're just going through the motions,
Yes. And I think a lot of us long for that sense of significance.
They really do.
But here's where verses like Colossians 3.2324
Yeah.
and Isaiah 43.19
Okay.
offer some really powerful insight.
Awesome.
Colossians tells us to, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving.
Wow. So it's like a total shift in perspective.
Right. It helps us see that even the most mundane tasks,
And hold eternal value.
exactly, when done with a heart focused on God,
I love the idea that God is weaving together all the threads of our lives
even the ones that seem insignificant.
into something beautiful.
And Isaiah speaks of God doing a new thing.
Yeah, see, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?
It's a reminder that God is always at work
Always creating.
and opening new paths.
It's a call to be open to new possibilities and to trust that God is leading us.
Even when we can't see the full picture.
As we journey through life, it's natural to need reassurance along the way
Oh, yeah. Totally normal.
because doubt can creep in, and we might start questioning whether God is really with us.
Or whether he's still working in our lives.
Right. And for those moments, Philippians 1.6 offers incredible comfort.
What does it say?
It says, "Being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus."
It's a promise of God's faithfulness.
His unwavering commitment to see us through to the very end.
What an amazing truth to hold on to.
Absolutely. Well, with that, we want to offer a blessing to all of you listening today.
Yes.
May you experience the peace of God that transcends all understanding.
May you be filled with his strength and courage to face each day.
And may you always be assured of his unwavering love for you.
And don't forget to leave us a comment and share this episode with someone who might need to hear these encouraging words today.
Thanks for joining us on Guided by Jesus Daily.